look on your left-hand side, we're about to pass two massive mahogany trees that were planted in 1760 by Sir John Gay Abbey. So you guys have heard of Mount Gayron, the oldest one in the world. It was named after him, and he once lived here. So those trees on your left, to our calculation, are 266 years old. Now these trees were planted by Sir John Gay Abbey. So you guys have heard of Mount Gayron, the oldest one in the world. It was named after him, and he once lived here. So keep your focus on the left. We're about to pass the Great House, completed in 368 years ago, in 1658. One of two Jacobean-style mansions in Barbados, and one of three in the Western Hemisphere. On your right-hand side, over 1 million gallons of fresh water. And I've got some tilapia fish in there. This is our man-made pond. Now passengers, we're now entering Hat Corner. Hat Corner. Remember, hold your hat tight, look up with some hair, and now do not be fooled by the name Abbey. It was never an actual Abbey of any kind, always a sugar plantation. And as we're approaching on the left-hand side, you'll see a few acres of our sugarcane fields. Now between the months of January to June every year, we will harvest that sugarcane here on the island. So if you guys have heard of our Crop Over Festival, it was given that name because all of our festivities officially start at the end of June, which is technically the end of crop. So crop is over, then it's time for fun. So we don't turn that sugarcane here into sugar, we turn it into rum. Single cask rum. Now this beautiful 400-acre property was bought by the Warren family in 2006, becoming one of the first ever Barbadians to own it. So that is a massive achievement because most of these owners originally came out of England. So if you guys have heard of Benedict Cumberbatch, the actor, who does roles like Doctor Strange and Sherlock Holmes, well, his family once owned this plantation as well in the mid-1800s. Now, because of a love affair, that is the reason why we're spanning just over 400 acres of property. Ballinger, the original owner, only got to enjoy it for 3 years. He was poisoned at a dinner party. Now, 10 weeks later, his business partner took his wife and got married and combined the lands together. Now, my question to you today is this: who really poisoned poor Ballinger back in the day? Was it the wife, the business partner, or maybe both of them? Now we must remember it was a poisoning which the woman's weapon of choice. And I forgot to mention in my story that Margaret, the wife, outlived all 3 of her husbands. So think about it. Who is it now? Now we are currently now on the gradient of 1 in 33, which is quite steep. It gives you an idea of what the original trade went through, because they too had a gradient like this one. It was called the Atlantic Concept Cutting in St. John. Now please be advised that the track we're on was never a part of the original track. These tracks here were only made in 2018. Our train officially began in 2019, just a few months before the COVID pandemic. Now, the original railway on the island ran from 1881 until 1937. It ran on 24 miles of track, 98 bridges, 10 train stations, and 2 turntables. It ran through 6 parishes on the island: St. Michael, St. George, St. Philip, St. John, St. Joseph, and Delvin Hill and St. Andrew. Originally brought in as a cargo train to move sugar and molasses quicker to Bridgetown for export, but eventually they allowed passenger travel, and that introduced the Sunday excursions. It was a 10-hour train journey. Now, I can't tell you what they were doing for 10 hours, but what made the train extremely heavyweight weight is when they introduced something called the penny train. All you had to have was a penny back then. They would have given you a chance to ride the train by placing you in the back. So that made the train extremely heavyweight weight. So when the train got into St. John, a gradient like what we are on now, 1 in 33, the train could not pull the weight up the hill. What do you think they had to do to help it? They had to get off and push. Which class of passengers do you think was pushing the train first, second, or third? And where are we? So we had to get off back then and push this train up the hill. Those in the middle had to get off and walk up the hill like they could wait. And those in front did nothing but donate the alcohol at the end of the push to the back to make us for pushing the train safely up the hill. So as you can imagine, when news broke on the island and all you had to have was a penny, you got the opportunity to ride at the back of the train, you just got to get out and help push it up the incline, and your reward is an alcoholic beverage. As you can imagine, the most popular ticket became the penny ticket. They had to bring in more powerful steam locomotives to pull that weight up the hill. So yes, passengers, that was a true story. Now back here on your right-hand side, we're passing right next to our latest addition, is a 60-foot Victorian steel trestle bridge. It has given us access to the other side. We now have an extension of an extra 2 miles of track. They will be planting sugarcane over there, producing hay for the dairy industry, and building 4 eco-offering cottages. Now passengers, we're now approaching our first stop, which is Cherry Tree Hill. We're asking our passengers to please remain on board until we come to that complete stop and the handbrakes have been applied. You will now be exiting the carriages on both